Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla and today I'm going to be talking about saving some money. The title of this video says how to save $10,000, but I know that that can be tough for a lot of people. So everything that I'm going to talk about in this video is applicable no matter which stage you're at. So if you want to save $100 in the year, or 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, so on and so forth, even beyond 10,000. And I'm calling that out now because I can already see the comments where people say, oh, I don't even have $100 to spare on a monthly basis. That's fine. That is okay. If you are, that actually leads me to the first thing that I want to talk about, which is your mindset. So if you're going into this or just living your life thinking it's impossible for you to save money, it's going to be impossible for you to save money. You need to shift your mindset and believe that you can do it. It's not about if you can save money, it is how you are going to make it happen. If you truly want to save some money, you can make it happen. Sure, it may take longer than the goal that you put out there. It may not be $10,000. You could just start with $500, but everybody starts somewhere. So stop saying it's impossible. Stop saying, but this, that, and the other. Stop saying that it's too hard, that it's not meant for you, whatever excuse that you are coming up with. Now, I know that there's gonna be setbacks in your journey. This happens to, that happened to me, that happens to a lot of people. You may save some money and then an emergency pops up and you have to deplete all of it, maybe even go into further debt because what you had saved wasn't enough to cover what you had to pay for. But what if you didn't have that savings? Look at that as a good thing, and you can see that as proof that you know how to do this. You've done it before, so you can do it again. And as long as you keep moving forward, you stay disciplined, you keep on trying, you stick to the plan, follow the strategy, whatever it is, it will get easier with time. It may take some time, but you will eventually get there, and saving money becomes easier and easier the more that you have saved. Now, whatever your savings goal is, the $10,000, $6,000, $1,000, whatever it is, I want you to determine that number and then set a deadline and break it down. So if your goal is to save $10,000 in a year, if you break that down by month, that is $833 on a monthly basis. And you can break that down even further. What does that look like on a bi-weekly basis? What does that look like on a weekly basis? If your goal is the $10,000 in 1 year, that's less than $200 on a weekly basis. So keep that in mind. We'll come back to that. Same goes if your goal is $1,000 and you want to achieve that in a year. So that means you would need to save about $83 every month, or less than $20 per week for every week of the year, and you'll get over $1,000. And I strongly suggest writing this all down. So whatever your goal is, the timeline where you would like to complete this goal or achieve this goal, and then the breakdown of it. So how much you need to be saving on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis, whatever it is that feels realistic to you. On this channel, I've talked about financial goals many times, and I have also mentioned writing down your goals and how there have been studies, multiple studies that show writing down your goals makes you more likely to achieve them. And it's such a simple thing that can have a big impact. So just whatever your goal is, write it down, hang it up somewhere that you're going to be seeing it frequently, and then you can start working toward that. And the importance of breaking down this goal into bite-sized chunks is so that it's not so overwhelming. Saving $10,000 feels like a lot. That feels like it's far away. But if you break it down to, oh, I just need to save about $200 on a weekly basis, that is something that psychologically feels much easier to achieve. And if you think about it, it's like, okay, I need to come up with $200 extra per month, or whatever, the $20 if you're going for $1,000, I need to figure out how I can either save or make that amount of money on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. And you can absolutely do that. You start to break it down and realize, oh, this is actually possible. I can do this. And of course, in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about, how you can do those things to actually achieve this goal. And real quick, I do want to give a big thank you to Mint Mobile for partnering with me for this video. And right now they have a limited time offer where you can save money on their 12-month unlimited plan. And so if you want to build your savings, a great place to start is by saving money on your phone plan. So you can start saving money today. We'll talk about that deal in just a bit, but Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 per month. All of their phone plans include unlimited talk and text, high quality speed, data, and coverage. You get access to 5G, access to mobile hotspot, and you get to keep your same phone and you get to keep your same phone number. Making the switch is also very easy. Visit mintmobile.com/debtoverit. That's linked down below in my description box. From there, you'll enter in a little bit of information about yourself and you can determine if your phone is eSIM compatible. If your phone is eSIM compatible, you can set things up in just a few minutes right from the comfort of your home. If your phone is not eSIM compatible, do not worry. Mint Mobile will ship a SIM card to your house. You'll get that in a couple of days. It's free of charge. And then you can still set things up from your home all by yourself. I've been using Mint Mobile for almost 3 years now, and I love being able to save on my phone plan without sacrificing the coverage that I need. I also love that I can pay the bill on an annual basis, so I don't even have to worry about it each month. So if you also want to save some money without the sacrifice, visit mintmobile.com/debtoverit, also linked down below in my description box, to get a premium wireless plan starting at just $15 per month with any 3-month plan. And right now, for a limited time, you can get $60 off their 12-month unlimited plan. This offer won't last long, so I suggest switching today or as soon as possible so you can lock in a year of unlimited service for just $25 per month. Thank you again to Mint Mobile for partnering with me on this video, and let's get back to it. Now, the next step is optional but highly recommended, and that is to open a high yield savings account. Many of y'all already have this, but if you don't have a high yield savings account or if you've never heard of it, this is typically with an online bank, so an online savings account, and you are going to gain interest in this account. So you are not going to be losing money. It is not an investment. It is a savings account that has an interest rate. The interest rate can fluctuate. As of right now, we're about like 3.8, 3.9%. Sometimes this will go above 4%. This has gone below 1% before. It really just depends on the economy, the government, all of those things. So it's a number that will fluctuate, but you will not lose money by saving in a high yield savings account. And also they, if you choose the right one, they're going to be FDIC insured up to $250,000. You shouldn't be paying any fees. You should be able to transfer money in and out of it pretty easily. It's going to take a couple of days for you to get your money and also to put money in, but it is safe being there and definitely something I recommend for holding your savings. Now, personally, I use Marcus by Goldman Sachs for my high yield savings account. Other great options would be Ally Bank, Synchrony, SoFi. There are many to choose from. I just have personally used Marcus for several years now. And on their website, they have a calculator where you can see how much money you can gain by saving in this account versus in a traditional bank or in cash. So as of right now, at the time of me filming this, their APY is 3.9%. I'm just gonna scroll down to their calculator here and plug in some numbers. So let's say your initial deposit, you just put in 100 to start with, right? And then on a monthly basis, if your goal is that 10,000, then you're gonna put in about $833 per month. So I'm gonna say your recurring deposit amount is $833 monthly for 1 year. So with that, you are going to make $184 in interest. So technically, in order for you to hit your 10K goal, you don't even need to save the whole $833 per month because you're going to be gaining interest. And then that interest is going to gain interest as well, as long as you leave it in that savings account. And same goes with if you lower things. So let's say you start with an initial deposit of $20 and then your goal is the 1,000 in a year. So you're going to be saving 83 per month. Okay. 1 year, you're going to gain $19 in interest. So obviously the more money you save, the more interest you're going to gain. But by using a high yield savings account to save your money, it's an easy way to build up your savings a little bit faster. Now, one thing I do want to call out about high yield savings accounts is that you do have to pay taxes on the interest that you earn in the year. It is something that I think is absolutely worth it. It is just counted as additional income, and then you will pay taxes just as usual based on your tax bracket. So that's just something to be aware of, but I've found that the interest that I gained is absolutely worth the little bit more of taxes that I would be paying. Now, this next thing that I'm about to talk about is not applicable to everyone, but it is so important if it is applicable to you, and it has to do with the things that cost the most in our life. So housing, transportation, children, and debt. So if you're in a position right now where you are facing a decision on those 4 things, then this is for you. So for example, maybe you still live with your parents, maybe you have roommates, whatever your situation, your living situation, and you are just trying to decide if you should move out on your own, pay rent on your own, buy a house, whatever it may be. And that decision is going to cost you X amount of dollars on a monthly basis, right? So that decision in and of itself is something to think about. One, is it necessary for you to leave whatever situation you're in currently? I know that many people do want to move out from their parents or certain situations, so it's completely understandable. But if you're at a place where it's like, I really want to save some money, I don't have that 10K yet, but I really want to, can I stay here a little bit longer? Something to think about. Instead of a $600,000 house, could you possibly go into a $300,000 house and save that much more on a monthly basis? Same goes with if you're about to buy a car. So one, do you even need to buy a car right now? Like, is it absolutely necessary? Or do you need to buy a 2025, a 2024? Probably not. Could you get away with a 2018, 2020, a used car and save a few hundred on your monthly payment and put that savings toward your goal that you're working on? If you're considering having children, is this something that you could push out by a year or two? Maybe you're like, hey, we don't have this amount saved yet. I would feel much more comfortable if we save that and then, started trying for that. I know that that's not something you can entirely control, but technically you can. So it's just big decisions like that, where if you're in that situation, you can kind of shape what to expect as far as your savings goes. And the reason I brought up debt before when talking about this is because you may be in a situation where you're better off actually focusing on paying down one of your debts or a couple of your debts and then start saving. So if you have absolutely no savings, I would suggest, working on saving something. But if you have a debt that's costing you several hundred on a monthly basis and you're paying a lot of interest, then it may be better for you to tackle that and set that as a goal instead of, saving some number. All of these things are going to impact how much you can save on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and we are all faced with these decisions at some point or another. Honestly, what usually ends up happening is people don't think about these big decisions before making them. But once you're in that big expensive house and you're paying a mortgage of $3,000, $4,000 plus, then you're stuck in that, at least for some time. Same with a car. If you buy that car and the monthly payment is $700 plus, even if you go and try to sell it, like, you're going to lose money. So if you can prevent yourself from making those decisions, or at least think about them and kind of calculate what things are going to look like, I would much rather you do that than just make a decision and then try to see where you can save some money. All right, I know I am a broken record when it comes to this next one, but you need to be budgeting and tracking your spending on a monthly basis. I'm sorry, it has to happen. Like, unless you're in a situation where you're an extremely high earner and saving $10,000 is like that, it's just something you can think about for 1-2 months and you're good to go, then sure, that's fine. But if you're watching this, you're probably somebody who's like, I want to come up with $1,000, $10,000, whatever in a year. I've been struggling to do that. You need to be budgeting and tracking your spending. Otherwise, you're not going to be in control here. Without making that budget, without tracking your spending, you're not going to know where your money is going, and you won't even know how much you're going to be able to save on a monthly basis. So I'm sorry, but on my channel, it's budgeting and tracking is just not something you can get away from. I have a couple of relevant videos. I will link those down below. If you're new to budgeting, if you're new to tracking your spending, I have several videos that you can watch and they should be helpful. Next up, automate your savings. Most people will benefit from automating their savings. So, you have your paycheck from work, and with your company, if you can have a set amount, either a set amount or a set percentage going to this savings account every time that you get paid. Psychology is a huge part of money and money-making decisions, and so many people, if they have money in their accounts, they feel like they can spend it. So if you just get this out of the way, act like it's not even your money, it's just going to that account, you can't touch it, you shouldn't touch it, then it will benefit you. So automating your savings really does work because, again, it reduces your temptation to spend that money. You are consistently going to be saving without any effort. You don't have to think about it. You don't need to log into your accounts and be like, oh yeah, I need to transfer this much. How much does it need to be again? It's just going to be happening every time that you get paid. So it's one less thing for you to think about. You don't have to make any decisions around it. You don't have to stress about it. Just easy peasy, set it, forget it. And by doing this, you're going to be saving more frequently, and that's going to allow your money to grow faster. So assuming you put your money into a high yield savings account, the more amount of days that you have a larger amount of money in there, the more interest is going to accrue. So if you're doing this every 2 weeks, assuming you get paid every 2 weeks or twice a month, whatever it is, that's going to be more beneficial than you just saving on a monthly basis. But even if it's just once a month, some people get paid once a month, that's fine. Automate it, set it, forget it. You don't have to think about it. And something I do want to call out here is make sure it's an amount that's reasonable and doable for you. You know, this is the importance of budgeting and tracking. So you should be able to come up with a number that is comfortable for you to be putting to savings automatically. So all of your bills are paid for, and then 5%, 10% is being taken from your paycheck, and you're not going to be struggling to pay your bills. But instead of that 10% of your paycheck going to personal spending, buying a new outfit, buying some makeup, getting something for the car, whatever it is, you're going to put that to savings, and it just requires no effort. Something else I talk about frequently on this channel is cutting expenses. You've got to make it happen. Now, there's only so much that you can cut out, but if this is something that you're starting with, like if you're new to working on your finances, this is the fun part, in my opinion, anyway. So car insurance, shop around, switch your car insurance provider, get a lower monthly rate. Your phone bill, we talked about that earlier in this video. You can switch to Mint Mobile. You can find something that is more affordable than what you are paying right now. Cable, do people still pay for cable anymore? You shouldn't be paying for cable. If you are trying to save money and you are serious about it, you want this to happen, cut out those things that just aren't even really adding value to your life. How many subscriptions are you paying for? Do you need to have Hulu and Netflix and Disney and Paramount and AMC? I can't even think of them all. Do you need to have all of those? Can you limit it down to just one? And if you want to go crazy, get rid of them all, at least temporarily. And since you're budgeting and tracking your spending now, how much are you spending on food out? What about delivery services? Do you really have to have that food delivered to your house when it's up the street? Probably not. You can at least cut back on delivery because that's something that is fairly new and you didn't have it before. You know, you lived without it before. Y'all know my approach to finances. I do think it's still important to spend on things that you want to prioritize. If you want to get your hair done, if you want to get your nails done, if you want to go out to eat, I think that's fine to spend on those things. But at the same time, if you are struggling to come up with money, can you eliminate something, at least temporarily, from your monthly budget, from your monthly spending, and allocate that towards savings instead? Think back to that timeline and the breakdown of your goal that we were talking about before. How can you cut out X amount of dollars per week, per month, so you can put it toward this goal? And like I said, you really only can cut back so much. So the next step is increasing your income. If you're trying to find $500 extra in your month, and let's say by cutting expenses, you were able to save $300 per month. You know, you cut out some subscriptions, you decided, okay, I'm only gonna go out to eat once or twice a week instead of going every single day. I'm not gonna get my nails done this week, whatever it is. So you're saving $300, $500, whatever it is on a monthly basis. And now you need to make the rest of that money that you're aiming for. So you need to make $200 extra in the month. How are you going to do that? This is when you start thinking that way and you can get creative. But it's 2025, y'all. So making money is not the easiest thing in the world, but there are so many possibilities. You can make money online, literally from home. You can DoorDash, you can do Instacart, you can get a second job, you can ask for a raise at your job, you can switch jobs if, obviously this may take some time, but you can switch jobs and get a higher pay. You can go through your closet and your junk drawers and the things that you haven't touched in years and years, wipe the dust off, take some nice photos, post them for sale, put them on Marketplace, on eBay, Poshmark, sell the things that you are no longer using. You can find free things on the curb in your neighborhood, post those for sale. You can start pet sitting, maybe you do babysitting, maybe you have a skill that you can start doing some freelance work, maybe you are certified as a personal trainer and you start teaching a group class at your gym 2 times a week. The possibilities are endless, and I know that it's going to be an exchange of your time, it's going to be exchange of effort, but if this is something that you want, if you want to save some money and you want to speed it up, increasing your income is the way to go. And by doing all of these things, you are going to hit that goal. Even if you deplete some savings, that's fine. Just pick back up where you left off, continue the journey, and keep going for it. Because if you have your high yield savings account, you're automatically saving money to it, making some passive income, some compound interest in there, and you keep on adding to it. You have lowered your expenses, you're budgeting, you're tracking, you're in control of your finances, you're making more money, maybe you start making even more money, and it just gets easier and easier. So the final thing I'll say here is stay disciplined, stay the course, keep that end goal in mind, and you will get there. And definitely celebrate your wins and reward yourself along the way, especially if that's something that you need. You know, if you, after you save $1,000, each $1,000 that you save, then you treat yourself to a coffee, or you have a full day of rest, or you go and do something, whatever it is that makes you happy. Nothing crazy, of course, don't deplete your savings in order to reward yourself, but whatever it is that's going to keep you motivated, I strongly encourage you to do that and make it a part of your whole strategy, of your whole plan. So if you have a savings goal, I would love for you to comment that down below. Let us know what your deadline is and the breakdown of how you're planning to save that amount and what you're going to do to make it happen. Happy saving. Let me know if y'all have any questions, but otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.